A wild ass used to the wilderness. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Kodash. I was going through, when I'm looking for a topic, I normally go to like RT News and I'll go right to their webpage. And a story jumped out at me, which happened actually today. It says, watch dozens of teenagers surround and attack car bearing medical plates in New York. And if I remember, I'll leave the link in the description box. This is, as you read the story, this is on 5th Avenue on 21st Street, which is downtown Manhattan. Now, this is not the hood. This is what you do is you have is a lot of businesses, a lot of office buildings, and residents that live in that neighborhood, which it's a mixed crowd, but it's more, of an Edomite spirit. You have Edomites that are down there, that go down there to shop, or they'll work in the office or whatever. So, this is not a so-called bad neighborhood. This is well-to-do Edomites. So this, and what you're looking at is, I'm just going to loop the video. And this is I believe it's 4 different, let me see something. It's actually 4 different angles of this attack on the one car or the SUV. And you see these and most of the majority of these these young men, teenagers, be anywhere from 15 to 20 years old. They're down there with bikes and so forth. And I believe 2 of them, when you read the story, 2 of them jumped on the back of the car, held onto the back of the car, and that happens, and they'll get a ride. So I guess the individual stopped short, and they just attacked them. So this is from 4 different cameras, from different angles, filming everything. There's no police. It's almost like a no man's land down there in Midtown or Lower Manhattan. You see one guy throw a bike on the hood of the SUV, and another individual takes a flying leap and jumps on the windshield and smashes the windshield. They just went wild. And the majority of them are Judites or Benjaminites or Ephraimites or Simeon. And they got the faces. They got the faces. Whether they're gonna catch them or not, it's not all that important, because ultimately what they're gonna do, they're gonna gather you Jakes together. They're gonna get you teenagers among Jake, and they're gonna put you in concentration camps pursuant to the scriptures. So I'm not gonna make this long. I'm gonna go right into the scriptures, and I'm gonna try to go through this fast, but let's see where the Spirit takes me. Anyway, the first precept is Isaiah Isaiah 51 and verse 20. And it says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. When you use a net to capture a bull, what does a bull do? They go wild. They run all over the place. They're trying to get out the net. They are full of the fury of Yahweh, the rebuke of thy power. Next precept. And this is from Bad Parenting. And I guarantee you, most of those teenagers, which I would say 95% of them were Jake, are probably in single family homes with no father figure. Their mothers are not teaching them the truth. They're not teaching them that they're Israelites. And that's why we say 2/3 of Israel will be put to death. And they're going to be put to death at the hands of the forces of Esau. So it says here in the law, Deuteronomy 21 verse 18, if a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father and the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold. And by the way, the word lay hold is also in Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter, which means to grab against their will. Lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place, and they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Now you have children that are anywhere from 13 to 20 to their early 20s, even to their mid to late 20s, that won't get a job, stay in their mama's house, playing video games, eating up the food, and not doing anything. So, pursuant to the law, you're to put them to death. It says, and all the men of the city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Let me give you another precept. Job 39 verse 5. Who have sent out the wild ass free? Now, we know that the scriptures is talking about actual animals, but it's also applied to Jake, to Israel, because when you go back to, well, we didn't read it, we're about to read it, Jeremiah 2 verse 20. The Lord compares Israelites to wild animals. Well, we read that in the first precept, which is Isaiah 51 verse 20. It says, Job 39 verse 5, who hath sent out the wild ass free, who hath loosed the bands of the wild ass. And the wild ass is talking about these jakes. And Esau's going to come to a point where they're going to have to shoot him dead in the street and lock him up in the concentration camps. I see 2021 being a terrible year. So now we're going to go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 2 verse 20. It says, for of old time I have broken thy yoke. And when you read from the first verse, you'll see that it's talking about the Israelites. This is the Most High speaking through Jeremiah to the Israelites. And burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress, when upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Now what that means is you're a spiritual harlot. You're following other gods besides the Most High, the God that you should serve, the power that you should serve. It says, yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? Now when you go to Romans the 11th chapter, and it speaks about the wild olive tree. The wild olive tree are Israelites that don't know that they're Israelites coming back into the fold. So those Gentiles in Romans 11 chapters referring to Israelites. It says, for though thou wash thee with nitrate and take thee much soap, yet thy iniquity is marked before me, saith Yahweh. So the Most High has you marked. How canst thou say, I am not polluted? I have not gone after Balaam, after thy way, or see thy way in the valley. Know what thou hast done. See, Jake doesn't know what they're doing. When we tell them that they're Israelites, they don't want to hear it. That's why the Most High is going to destroy the majority of our people. Thou art a swift dromedary traversing her ways. You're doing things other than what the Most High wants you to do. A wild ass used to the wilderness that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure. You do what you want to do. So there's going to come a time where the Most High is just going to take you out. In her occasion, who can turn her away? So the Most High send out the prophets, which are us, and we're telling Israelites who they are, and they're doing what they want to do. So there's going to be a time where the Most High is just going to take y'all out. All they that seek her will not weary themselves. In her months they shall find her. What I'm going to do here is just jump down to the 30th verse. Jeremiah 2 verse 30. It says, in vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. Your own sword have devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. So instead of you listening to us, the men of the Lord, you come against us. And I believe, 2021, and I'm praying that that's the year that the Most High, fulfills all his scriptures or his prophecies. So this is the last one. I'm going to close on this. Revelation 2 verse 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, which is concentration camps, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So some of us is going to get caught up in this. Anyway, I just wanted to, quickly go over this. With that, I'm going to say shalom.